when we did the drawing class and we drew the same model, the thing that got me and tripped me up is even though I was looking at the shape, I should have drawn a vertical and horizontal line at perpendicular just to guide me, because I wasn't lining up my mouth and my nose very well. So I'm gonna make sure I do that this time. So, and I'm gonna make the eyes about this wide apart. So the thing we noticed also was that her eyes were more wide set. So I want to make sure that the width of her eyes comes in from, this is going to be outside of here. Okay. And I get make sure I get the thickness of her eyelids. And then underneath, they're kind of more flat underneath. Go ahead and put in the iris. Now I'm going to lose a lot of this stuff when we start painting. That's okay. We'll go ahead and lock it in. We determined that the bottom of the nose is just a little bit more than an eye width down. So right here. And the width is the same as the eye width. So I have that. But she's looking upwards. Her face is looking up. Her eyes are looking down, but her face is looking upwards. I want to make sure I put the bulb of the nose up here. And then there's a lot of shadow under the eye. All right, and then the mouth is going to come down one eye width below the bottom of the nose. One eye width below the bottom of the nose is the bottom of the eye, bottom of the mouth. Comes all the way up here. Now, because I drew these guidelines, I'm able to find where the mouth is a little bit easier than had I not. And we remember that the width of the mouth comes in to the inner portion of the irises, like that, in her case. So it's like this, and that's about right. So thickness to it. The mouth is open. So our eye width is here. On the bottom of her nose to the bottom of the mouth is one eye. And then we go down one more. That just gets us to the shadow shape on her chin. So like this goes down to here. Oops. Go down again. That's the shadow shape on her chin, and her actual chin is down here because she's looking up. Now things aren't going to look right until we start shading things in. Well, I think the width of her face, yeah, it's like her eye widths, 2 eye widths apart is the width. So it should be 4 eye widths across here. Just like this to the middle. That's the width of her jaw here. Put the angle down, and then her ear is at the level of her mouth or below it. Coming down to here for shadow shape. Okay. Her hand. So her hand is the body of her hand is about 3 eye widths. Actually, it looks like it's a little bit less than that. It's like this amount. But how far down does her hand start from her jaw? Looks like it's 2 eye widths is that's where the bone is. So in here, and so that's where her knuckles are, right there. Neck is here. It's a shadow shape. So I don't normally draw in with charcoal unless I'm doing a really complicated painting that has to be exact. I may do it. I don't know about that. And the top of her head, from her eye to the top of her head is this amount. So from the tear duct to the edge of her hair is the same as the width of 3 eyes. Just double check all my proportions and see how I did. All right, so I'm going to mix a violet color using blue and alizarin. I could actually use some more blue here. Violet, I'm mixing. This is the Jeremy Lipking technique. I don't know where he learned it from. Blue is the complement of orange, yes. And so skin color is orange. But then he goes a little bit more on the violet, which is actually the complement of purple, or purple is the complement is yellow. So I think purple is kind of a good shadowy color if you have a warm light. All right, now let's make some skin color. I just more pinky. That's way too pink. So I just made some orange. Put it up to my skin. It's too bright, so I stuck some violet in there and mix it up. Kind of put it up here, and it's just tone it down a little bit, and then that's starting to look good. I make a dark color. I just took some. This one is transparent red oxide. So you guys, there's a ton of different ways to make the dark. I just want to make sure that they kind of they look good together. Like one looks like it could be the shadow of the other. So like in this case, this is looking a little bit more pinky than this. I'll add a little bit of red to it. I mean, in comparison. Now it's looking kind of, it's kind of a more vibrant dark. And then I'm gonna make another, like a really strong dark. I'm just taking some, I'd rather use burnt umber, but I had some raw umber on here, but I'll add a little bit of cad red to it. This is cad red light. Oh, I need a kind of a really dark here. I just took some black and some of that dark color. Now I need to add more red. So that's really dark. But see how it's warm? All right. I'm gonna take a finer tip. Filbert. Actually, this is a round. A number 2 round. All right, now I'm just gonna restate my darks. See how much, actually you can't really see as much in this camera angle, but it's much warmer than the charcoal that I started out with. And then I'm gonna try, as I'm drawing it in, I'm gonna try and make some corrections, do my darks first. Try and get the angles that line up between the 2 eyes. Okay, now I'm gonna go get some black in there to make the iris. Now the iris, because she's looking, show you this too black, because she's looking, her head is turned up, but her eyes are turning down. Let me see. Um, so her iris intersects at an angle we don't often see. Try and make sure that the iris is a little bit more than a third in a third of an eye width in width at the widest point. Get some black in there. Go ahead and put the pupil in. So this is pretty easy when you've drawn in portions of it. And then this is this dark over here is the eyelash. It can be a little bit cooler than the crease. Nostrils are parallel with the width of her face. All right, I'm going to go ahead and use this color for the corners of her mouth. Double check the width. It's going to come in. That's right. I'll go ahead and put in the shadow shape right there. So I'm going to use this not quite as dark. So I can come in later and add some reflected light in a couple places. So the shadow is coming down at an angle like this. I'm going to go ahead and so this lighter shadow color. I'm not going to obstruct or go over the dark of the crease. And then I'll go ahead and go under it too. So what I'm doing is trying to get the general shadow shapes. I'm going to come back later and refine the colors and try and make the colors more interesting. There we go. Let's get a bigger brush and we're going to scumble in the shadow color over here. That's looking kind of red. For the dark of the lips, I'm just taking cad red light and alizarin crimson, and then a little bit of skin color mixed in just to lighten it and unify it. I could go a little bit darker. Let's go ahead and cover the hole like this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lighten this bottom part in a moment. First I'll darken the upper part. And then in between, it's kind of our shadow color, our crease shadow color. There. Mix a little bit of hair color. It looks to me like in the darkest dark, it's like a warm, even though she has a purpley color in her hair, it's kind of a it's like a blonde that's been grayed out, and outside of the purple highlights, it's going to be more of a neutral skin color. So kind of, I would say it's like a raw umber in the shadow. I'm going to put a little skin color into it and then darken it with black, and that will be the far side hair color. I'm going to get a nice big brush, and when I put it in, now's a good chance to double check the contour of her face and see if I see any angles. I'm going to try and get those in. Her ear is here, so I don't want to cover that. So it comes in right over her eye, and then it pops up. So this is a lot darker than her hair, but we're going to put lights over it, so that's okay. Fingers, I've kind of put in fingers. I've double checked that they're approximately the right dimensions. Now, something that helps with indicating roundness of form is if there's a cast shadow on something, if you can see it, there's a cast shadow on her fingers, but see how they make little semicircles? That helps to define the roundness of her fingers. Back to her hair. The light part is, I think it's just white and raw umber. Let's add a tiny bit of skin color into it. Maybe a little yellow too. Add a little bit of orange into there. There. Yeah, that seems to work better. The purple I'm making with, I took my blue mixture, or my violet mixture, I added a little bit of blue and a little bit of red, cad red. And remember, when we have ultramarine, if we mix in alizarin, it'll be a chromatic purple, but cad is opaque, and so it's going to subtract some of the chroma out of there, which is what we want. We don't want it to be too neon-y. I mean, no one knows really how much purple she has in there, except for us. And then do a darker version of that. So I'm taking that gray, I'm putting a little bit of transparent red oxide to give it some chroma. All right, let's try and get some lights of her face in. So I think I'm going to do the transition color first, right over here, and I'm going to put this down on the form shadows. So again, we're going to go back later and adjust some of these. So this is hard, but this right here is soft. All right, now let's go with the light. This looks kind of pinky to me. Add a little bit of yellow to it. Still looking pink. We'll just see what happens. Yeah, now it's looking too bright. I'm going to put a little bit of this violet in, and that will tone it down. Yeah, it's better. So the way I've been doing this compared to other painting sessions is I'm trying to get the kind of just the structure so much, not as much really good color, but hopefully we can go back over and add some color afterwards. whites for eyes. So it's a gray in the whites of her eyes here are kind of a dark gray. And a slightly lighter gray here. And then a light gray here. And I can stick some, even make it lighter later. Let's get upper eyelid. That's grayer than the normal skin tone that I'm seeing. And that gets darker towards the back. See what it looks like. I'll go ahead and put in a highlight. I should actually, I'm going to put in the dark of the, restate the pupil. So I'm going to use a downstroke so I don't have reflection. So what I'm trying to do is get the shape right while I'm doing this. And now I notice when I zoomed in, I'm seeing a lot of red in here. Everybody, let's get some lights in. And now I'm gonna, on the next pass through here, I'm gonna try and get some more subtle colors, some color variation, because this is pretty monotone.